Y'all, we woke. Just the afternoon, but we're going to say good morning anyway. Good morning, good afternoon. Today is day 7 of our Metabolic Minute. First, we're going to jump into our faith focus. And our faith focus is coming from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. There is a time and season for everything. I often have to remind my own self, Crystal, your timing is not God's timing. Hello. And sometimes your timing is not your friend's timing. Sometimes we as a people become super frustrated because we're comparing our timeline with somebody else's. Well, I started the same time she started, or I ate the same thing she ate, and all da 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 da, and it starts to sound like a bunch of boo 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 boo. But this scripture right here will remind you, girlfriend or guy friend or whoever's listening, right, that everything have a season. Your healing have a season. Remember, we went years and years and years of putting these things inside of our bodies, and because we said, you know what, I want to feel better, we want it to happen today or tomorrow. It doesn't always happen like that. Your growth have a season. You know, I tell myself all the time, I am a seasoned woman. I'm a lot more wiser. There's some things that I got today that I didn't get before, but I'm here. And guess what? Your breakthrough even have a season. I had a whole bunch of breakthrough seasons. But the whole idea is to trust the season that you are in and continue to show up faithfully, because we will become weary. Well, that scripture, I think it was a couple days ago. We're only on day 7. Might have been like day 2 or something like that. Don't get weary in well doing, because in due season you will reap if you faint not. That, you know, again, when I talk about this 3 fast framework, your mind will become clearer and stronger if you faint not, right? Your body will become more healthier and healed, and even start to transform into the vision you have for it. Crystal, I'm waiting for them abs. Plug. Speaking of abs, on the 17th, we're starting our Straight to the Core challenge. But there's a time and season for everything, right? And then spiritually, once you decide, you know what I'm doing now is no longer serving me, all you have to do is think the thought and then be willing to make the changes. So again, there's a time and season for everything. Be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Make this whole life situation an N of 1 experience. When I coach my women, I tell them, when I say N of 1, that means you get to put your blinders on, right? And you get to lock into yourself. You don't get to look at Susie and be like, oh, Susie's doing that, and this is working for Susie. I want to do what Susie do. This is how we get tripped up with social media. Everything look glorious. Everything look amazing. We'll come on here and we'll watch somebody's story that may have released 30 pounds, 100 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever the story is, and we get inspired. But also lock into their transformation, the time it took, the patience that they had to have, the faith that they had to have, that, you know, you got to see it before you see it. And I'm learning, the more season I get, we as a people don't have that type of patience. We have the want to do, right? But we don't have the patience to hold out to see what the end is going to be. So, all right. So now we got that out of the way. Let's hop into our Metabolic Minute lesson. All right, y'all. So today we're going to talk about our morning glucose, what it is telling you. Now, our morning glucose is a telltale sign. It provides valuable information for you about what's happened overnight. Now, there are a whole lot of different factors that can influence your morning glucose. We talk about stress, y'all. Stress could just knock us off our feet altogether. Hormonally, you know, we talk about testing. If you're stressed out, you could do all the right things and it still affect your body so that you won't see a result. Sleep is something that I've learned recently. We have got to get our rest. Another thing that is a no-no, maybe it's okay from time to time, but late night eating. A lot of times we will eat within that 2-hour frame of going to bed, and that is the worst thing that we can do. Your hormones can also affect your morning glucose. And then your insulin sensitivity. So, you know, our whole goal is to take our body from burning sugar to burning fat. And if we are insulin resistant, fasting can help you become insulin sensitive. So the fact that you may have a higher glucose reading in the morning doesn't always necessarily mean that you are doing something wrong. This is why we want to track what we're eating, what time we eat it, the effects that it's having on our glucose. But all these numbers are just giving us information about us. So one challenge I will have for you, for those of you that have been following along, maybe in a community, maybe you have a Keto Mojo, is to track to track your sleep quality tonight. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, test as soon as you wake up, and let's see what these numbers are saying to you. So again, just to recap, we typically would test in the morning, and your morning glucose numbers are always going to be lower than your numbers right before you break your fast. So when we wake up in the morning, we would test. Well, for me, it's like 4 o'clock, but I would test at 4 o'clock. I typically don't eat before 11. I definitely don't eat before 11 unless it's a Saturday. I normally go to about 12 or 1 o'clock before I break my fast. So between the reading that I have first thing in the morning at 4 o'clock and then when I break my fast, there's some things happening. I should kick into ketosis. I should see my GKI drop below a 9.0 if I'm doing all the other things that I'm supposed to be doing. What are those things, Crystal? Staying away from the highly processed oils, staying away from the highly processed foods is what I meant to say. Staying away from those high inflammatory oils, not eating within 2 hours of my sleep time. But even if I am sleeping if I go to bed, like last night, I did not lay down until about 2:30. I was not up eating until 12 o'clock midnight. I stopped eating a little earlier. However, we're going to see what they say because I did have a cookie though. That chocolate chip cookie was delicious. You know, people will say, but I thought that, yeah, I'm still on my journey. But again, you get to make this your own. And when I say that you get to make this your own, you know, my goal I shared with you guys was to drop 20 pounds. I'm still going to reach that milestone. It was a cookie, and you know, I'm big on don't beat yourself up. Sometimes I'll say to myself, girl, why did you eat the cookie? But when I ate the cookie, it was delicious. So y'all know me, I'll tell you, if you're like really like, oh my gosh, I gotta have the Snickers, eat the Snickers, let's get it over with and let's move on. Now, when we're eating cookies every day or eating Snickers every day, that's a whole different conversation. But again, this is a lifestyle. This is not a diet. This is not oh my goodness, I can never have anything that is pleasing to my palate. I think the challenge come in at when we allow those things to overtake us and control us, and it's a big difference. All right, so let's go in and see what these numbers are. We have the alcohol. We're going to prick the finger. Got it on 4. Prick the finger. All right, wipe off the first side. We're going to massage it. Okay, we got blood. We got blood. Let's see what our glucose is saying to us. So we put our strip in. There's a 0. We're going to go ahead and take that reading. All right, countdown. 9. 8. Countdown be taking forever sometimes. Where's our glucose? Oh, I mean ketone. Ketone is a 0.4. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you something very interesting. Y'all don't know, but now you know because I'm telling you. I recorded this video already and the video deleted. But my ketone a couple minutes ago was a 0.4. Now let's see what and it can happen like that sometimes. All right. So let's see what our glucose is telling us. Okay, now we got our glucose here. So remember, this is the Keto Mojo, and I also have my glucose monitor on my arm. So my glucose is a 104. Anytime you have movement, your glucose is going to elevate. But again, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No problem. Let's go in. Keto Mojo. Come on. All right. So we're going to go in. So as y'all can see, a minute ago, right? It's a glare. But a minute ago, my glucose was 109 and my ketone was 104. And my GKI reading is a 15.1. So now I'm going to sync it for this one right here. Let's see. My GKI probably is a little higher. 9 and below, we're in fat burning. So we were 15. I'm not in fat burning mode. It was that cookie. But we'll get back into, oh, Jesus. GKI 28. But I'm glad this is happening so y'all can see how these numbers jump because people get so freaked out over the numbers. They're here for a reason. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes we just go into a whole panic. Why my numbers just changed like that, I have no idea. But they did, and it's cool. We'll be back tomorrow morning to test again. Remember, this is a lifestyle. This is my lifestyle. This is, you know, my journey. I have these numbers now. My GKI ever hit, which it's been before, 50-something. It's like, hey, hello. I know those numbers mean. That mean get yourself back under subjection. Typically, when we would go out for vacation or you go out and have dinner, as you can see, let me show y'all this. So my Dexcom is reading my glucose at 98. Remember, this is all data. There's never, it's never perfect. And what I mean by that, because y'all might say, well, Crystal, if it's never perfect, why would I do it? The same thing with the scale. When you get on the scale, you might weigh 230 pounds. The scale might tell you that you weigh 225. It's still very close. It's in the neighborhood of where you are. So again, and all the movement. Like I said, I recorded the whole video and I went to go download this part and it didn't record. Actually, my phone storage. It was my phone storage. So with that being said, if you have not tapped in, please make sure you tap in, comment, like, subscribe, all the things. And remember, we have our Straight to the Core challenge coming up soon. Remember, guys, do something today that your future self is going to thank you for, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.